Fans are funny. I want to talk about two sets of fans, the Penn State fans and the Kentucky fans. First, the Penn State fans. The older fans in their late 50s, 60s, early 70s, late 70s, they might complain about Joe Paterno, but they know Joe Paterno made Penn State a national power in football. They remember when they went to college, they sat in a stadium that seated 31 to 33,000. And they played at Pitt every year. And every time they played Penn, the game was in Philadelphia. And Ohio State never came to Penn State. Penn State went to Ohio State. That's the way it was. They appreciate what Paterno did. But the young fans, the fans in their 20s and 30s and 40s, they don't realize the stadium all used to seat 31 to 33,000. And they played Pitt on the road all the time. And they played Penn when Penn was a national power on the road. They don't realize that. They should be grateful what Paterno did, and if he had a few bad years, shut up. He had a very good year last year. Now that brings me to the Kentucky fans. In Kentucky's case, the old fans also remember what it was like back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. But they have to realize it's never going to be like that again. In those years, Kentucky was the only team in the Southeastern Conference that took basketball seriously. The fans at Alabama thought all field goals were 3 points. Then they learned in basketball it's only 2 points. Georgia, none of those schools cared about basketball. Then the money got big in the NCAA tournament, and they all cared. It's never going to be the same for Kentucky. They're not going to get regional basketball games at home in the tournament, as they did in 57 and 58. And don't let anybody kid you. Kentucky played 2 at home in Lexington in the regionals and went 90 miles in Louisville for the Final Four and won the NCAA title. If they played those games anywhere else except in Kentucky, Kentucky doesn't win. So you got John Calipari. You got a great coach. But he's not going to do what the Kentucky did in the 40s and 50s and 60s and just accept it. Penn State fans, the younger ones, accept it. The older fans of Kentucky accept it. Things are different. In some cases good, in some cases bad. But in both cases, Penn State is now a national power in football because of Joe Paterno. And Kentucky will always be a national power in basketball. They just won't win as many NCAA tournaments. It's a lot tougher than it used to be, and it's a lot tougher to win the conference title. Times change. If you don't like it, don't watch TV and sports. This is Beano Cook, ESPN Motion.